This Kentucky team is very high on this Kentucky team, as evidenced by the media run that some of their players have been making lately. We had a lot in the early offseason about how if Otega came back, he would be the preseason SEC Player of the Year. We've had some very positive buzz about both Malachi Moreno and Jasper Johnson with Team USA happenings this offseason. But Jaylen Lowe has been arguably the most outspoken about what he sees in this Kentucky team. I think you guys talked about him on the channel a little bit yesterday, even. But there's a new article that came out from KSR. Shout out to Jack Pilgrim yesterday, who put this up on the On3 KSR site. And here's some quotes from Jaylen Lowe I want to discuss with you. He said, quote, I know when I committed, and my dad and I would just be talking about different guys that we were trying to bring in. It was like, okay, yeah, we're working for sure. It's been amazing. I'm loving the guys. I think we're the best backcourt in the country for sure. Once we get our guy Jasper back, having everybody on the court at the same time, just competing every day, I feel like the pieces that we have, we can compete and win at the utmost level. I'm loving this group. He goes on later in the article to discuss how he really wants to win a championship. And I kind of chuckled at this. He said, to know that I can go from not playing a tournament game to competing for a national championship, it's everything I wanted and more. You mentioned this in yesterday's video. When you come from Pitt, Trent Noah looks like the best shooter you've ever played with. And yeah, he's very mystified that he's no longer at Pitt and he's now at Kentucky, where they play for national championships, not NIT bids. But let's dial back in on the first quote here. The best backcourt in the country, for sure, per Jaland Lowe. Do you have a problem with Jaylen Low saying this?
Two things here. One, I actually don't have a problem with him saying this. I said this yesterday on the Trent Noah video. I feel like inherently, like I equate it to like football, I guess, in this sense that the quarterback like hypes up his receivers, his teammates. I think the point guard on basketball teams inherently like you want your point guard to be your leader, and also you want your point guard to uplift others, make others better, and maybe even be a little bit have a little bit of sense of irrational confidence in yourself and your teammates, right? Like I feel like that can make you a good teammate at times. Second part of this. It's just wrong, completely wrong. I don't even know if they're the best backcourt in the SEC if we want to have that conversation. But I think that they do have a really good backcourt. I don't think that they are in the conversation for best backcourt in the country, and also that's okay. It's okay that you're not in the conversation for best backcourt in the country because there's a lot of good backcourts.
I feel like roughly 5% of our off-season videos this cycle have been player X for team Y says we're the best blank in the country. We've done this with Purdue a bunch where like every Purdue player is seemingly coming out being like we're the best team in the country. I think a couple of Houston players have said it. I don't know, you go around like there's a lot of confidence. Off-season discussion is for the off-season and you can be optimistic. Um I feel like most of the time it's a non-story. Like player or team believes in themselves to an extent. We just let that rock. That's normal. To me, this is a conversation because I want to try and pinpoint where we think Kentucky's backcourt actually is. Like if you have like the third best backcourt in the country, I'm fine with saying you think you're the best backcourt in the country. Um, in my head, that's not how I was framing this Kentucky team, unless we're including some players that I don't consider to be backcourt players. Like, can we define a couple things? Who is the Kentucky backcourt next season?
See, you do have to define it, but to me, the Kentucky backcourt is probably going to be Jaland Lowe and Denzel Aberdeen.
Jaylen Low, Denzel Aberdeen, Jasper Johnson, right? That to me, that's the Kentucky backcourt.
Yes.
But I would assume in order to even think about the Kentucky backcourt being the best backcourt in the country, you have to include Otega Owe in that group, right?
Talking about oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you weren't on the video. So Kentucky does this thing, everyone's initials.
Mm, okay.
Like yesterday, he was talking about Trent Noah. He called him TN. You got DA. You got OO, JL, JQ.
Can I petition that instead of calling Otega Owe OO, we call him Ooh?
Pause. No,
Ooh.
relax.
Ooh, might be.
Okay.
If we put ooh in the backcourt, I'm totally in on this. But like, uh, okay, if Jaylen, let's give him the benefit of the doubt here. If Jaylen Lowe is calling Otega Owe ooh a backcourt player, is it reasonable to put Kentucky in the conversation for best backcourt in the country?
If it's low and Owe,
Lowe, Owe, Jasper, and Aberdeen.
uh, like it depends how far that conversation word goes, but I'd say yes.
Okay. Now, let's define how far the conversation goes. Like, there's number one, which I think most people in the sport would argue that the best point guard in the country, Braden Smith and Omer Meyer and maybe Fletcher Lawyer, is the best backcourt in the country, the winningest backcourt in the country coming in next year. If you didn't go there, I think a lot of people would point to Xavion Lee and Boogie Fland in
Mhm.
Florida. Um, but this is all a conversation. Just generally, without going too specific, where do you think Kentucky's ranks in your mind right now?
Mm,
With Otega Owe included.
I'm trying to make sure I don't
We have
forget.
him as a first team All American, so it's not that crazy if we're including
No,
It's
it's not.
crazy if we're
It's
not.
it's not. And in my head, I'm thinking like they would fall somewhere in like the six range. But then also as I'm doing it, we gotta go. I'll put Houston ahead of them. Uzan and Sharp.
Yeah.
I don't know if like you extend it out. Um, question for you: you taking UConn or you taking Kentucky?
This video is brought to you by NBA 2KLab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well. And they're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game. And I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh,
Ooh,
okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's. That's New
New
York.
York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado is.
It's it's in Colorado. There's a state of
Is that
Colorado.
this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video. I mean, the thing is, if we're stretching to include Otega Owe, you got to stretch to include some UConn guys, right?
Yes.
Which would mean Demery, Solo Ball. I think you stretch to include Braylon Mullins. And I think Malachi Smith is the fourth. I would take UConn's guards over Kentucky's.
I think I take UConn as well. All right, BYU.
See, this is where you start to lose me because we can't include AJ DeBonsa as a backcourt guy, can we?
No. Okay, well, even moving on from that, I'm just kind of going through like I'm taking Louisville's backcourt over Kentucky's.
That's actually probably the consensus number one answer is Louisville. Yeah.
Yeah, that like that's fairly easy for me.
Yeah. So I'm okay. Going through this, I think Kentucky just with, or excuse me, not Kentucky, Louisville with Michael, with Conwell, with God, they're deep too. Willie McNeely. That's probably number one. You could argue Purdue just having Braden Smith is valuable enough at two, but Smith, Meyer, CJ Cox, and Fletcher Lawyer. That's killer. Those guys have won at the highest level, made a national championship game. They're still around, and they got the best guard in the country. Those two to me are not arguable. And then outside of that, UConn, I think I would lean. I would listen to arguments for a few other teams, but I think I would have Kentucky firmly in the top five if we're including Otega Owe. The problem is calling them the best backcourt in the country. I don't think you should include Otega Owe, right? Like
Hmm.
if he was just saying we've got the best guards.
Well, it's
Fine.
weird though. It's weird though because you have the conversation and we do it a lot. It's best front court, best back court, and then there's like that wing guy that's like, oh, does that wing guy constitute in the front court? Oh, does he like lean? Like there needs to be Honestly, I feel like you and I need to come up with something where it's like, I don't know, the just the wing spot.
Yeah, I mean we've done positional rankings in the past at the end of off seasons, and we do best guards, best wings, best front court players, best bigs. And I think like pretty quickly without hesitation, you and I would both put Otega away in the wings group this year, right?
Yes.
So I don't know. Look, this probably doesn't need to be like dissected to this level. Jaylen Lowe believes in himself, believes in his team and his guards. I'm fine with that. It just it becomes like a little bit delusional if he's not including Otega Owe, and it becomes like perfectly acceptable if Otega Owe is in the group. But like, man, imagine if he is just talking about himself and Aberdeen and Jasper. Like that's crazy, right? That's not a top anything backcourt in the sport. Even respectfully to Jaylen Lowe, who is productive, you can't have a point guard who shot 37% from the floor and 26% from three last year. And you're talking about being the best backcourt in the country. That's horrifically inefficient.
Yeah.
No great backcourt features a guy like that. Yeah, was Pitt on any best backcourt list last year?
No.
Because Jaylen Lowe was wildly inefficient. Like that's lost in all of this. Is even if you do include Otega Owe, you have to include the inefficient guy, and we hope that he gets more efficient this year. But it's kind of crazy. It's the inefficient guy leading this, right? If it was Otega sitting there being like, "I'm a guard, we're the best backcourt in the country," I'd be like, "Okay." But it's the guy who shot 37% from the floor and 26% from three last year, who in the same interview is like, "Yeah, I missed the tournament."
Yeah. It just like you said though, I feel like it's just not even just Kentucky. It seems like this off season everyone just wants to have the phrase "we are the best this."
True. It's happening everywhere.
It's
You're right.
happening everywhere. TKR is like we're the best this, like everyone just like feels the need to say we're the best whatever. Which, like I said, there's confidence, there's yeah, okay. Then there's that certain point where it's like you're not required to come out and say anything along the lines of that.
You know it's okay sometimes
What?
not being the best.
No,
Not a Kentucky.
the assignment.
The assignment
The
number nine.
assignment.
Number nine. Do you think like so I kind of got a conspiracy theory here. I think that Mark Pope, in part of getting more comfortable as Kentucky's head coach, is starting to put his players through some private media training. Like I would bet the onboarding process of being a new transfer in Mark Pope's program begins with like a welcome package, probably like a nice little campus tour, some gear, and then like, hey, be in the office at 9:30 tomorrow. You got media training. And the first 90 minutes of your Kentucky career are spent with Mark Pope and like a PR person teaching you how to have a superiority complex. Like, never get behind a microphone without saying you're the best. National champions. This is what we do. We're Kentucky. And the fans will eat it up and love you for it.
You know, you're a Severance guy, right?
I'm actually not. No.
Really?
Mm.
Oh, damn. Well, okay, I want to get this out there for the Severance watchers out there. There's a punishment in the show where they make you read a sentence or a paragraph, right? But they hook you up to like this lie detector test where you can't just read it and not mean it, and you dead ass they'll be in there for 8 hours if they have to, reading it over and over again until they truly actually believe it. I feel like
Wow.
that's what they're doing right here. That's what Mark Pope is doing.
Yeah, I mean that could be the move. Also, like I can't knock it that much because I'm 32 years old. I grew up. Shout out to my parents. Every single meal that my mother made our family, at the end of the meal, my father would look at her and say, "That was the best blank I've ever had." So, like it worked, led to a long and happy marriage. Maybe the long and happy marriage with Jaylen Lowe and Kentucky fans is just beginning.